So let's say, okay, man, all right, I know exactly, like, let's say that you can visualize exactly where that is in whatever market you're in right now. Okay, I'm going to go grab it. So what should I do? Obviously, Robert and I are big fans of find a real estate agent that understands
100%.
how to guide you in the different nuances of remodeling that you can do to bring value into that property. Robert, go into that because I know you're super passionate about this as a real estate agent and an investor.
Yeah, you've got to have an agent that isn't just going to walk in and tell you every house is good. I mean, that's what a lot of agents will do. You got to have an agent that maybe has got a little bit of investing experience on their own. And when you talk to them and say, hey, I want to employ this strategy where I go move into my house, fix it up over 2 years, and then resell it, they should be really in key with that. If they're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, and like, and they're not really quite sure exactly what that would be, that's a red flag,
Yes.
But the ones that know it, they're like, oh yeah, you want to go in there, do cosmetic updates, you want to clean it all up, and then, capture that equity, sell it, move it down the road. They start talking like that, which is how I would talk. If you're working with me as an agent, I'd be like, yeah, we can find those houses. Then the next step with that agent is, what type of houses are they showing you? Are they now showing you new houses? Are they showing you houses that are outside your budget? If they're doing those types of things, it's another red flag, like, hey, they're not in tune with what you want. And you need to have a conversation with them, if they're not doing that. But I think that if you spend a little bit of time hunting for an agent or looking for the ones that, potentially interviewing some agents to ask them about their experience in real estate and investing and all that. And then, do they own any investment properties? Have they ever flipped their own house? Like, those questions are the questions that you want to ask. Or do they work with flippers? Do they do that type? Do they work with investors? And what are some examples of what you've done with them? Are kind of all the questions that I would be asking to try to hunt down that right person, because they're all out there. So many investors are real estate agents and real estate agents for investors, vice versa. But I think that if you just have that good conversation up front, then you can set the expectation of the type of house that you want, and you'll probably have a lot more success. But the real estate agent is the most important for finding
Robert,
a property.
let me throw this out there at you though.
Yeah.
Would you ever, because I know how the young people are, would you ever go it on your own and just try to figure it out on your own without an experienced real estate agent?
No. Like, a lot of people think that they can do that, but there's so many problems. Like, it actually equates to, like, Zillow just jumping out of the iBuyer market, right? Oh, weird, what happened? They're 25% down and all those things. Like, they thought they could just buy houses using other people that aren't real estate investors because house buying is so easy. No, it's not. I mean, if a professional company like Zillow is bailing out of that process and their whole going about it alone is basically what they did with that, I mean, would it make sense for you to do that? No way.
Well, and at the end of the day, I want to talk about that for 1 second here, because everybody's talking about that right now. And the biggest reason why they're bailing is because they aren't bringing value. They're trying to do is buy a property at market value, or sometimes over market value, do nothing to create value within that property or that asset, and then just throw it on the market and hope that the market, through appreciation and supply and demand, provide them a dividend. Like, that's about the highest risk thing you can do if you're not bringing value and you're overpaying for the property. Yeah.
Right. I mean, so you'd be speculating if you went out and did that yourself, right? If you didn't have a professional, phase one professional is real estate agent. They know the market. They know that you could accidentally overpay on your first home by $25,000 just because you think, oh, this could be a great one to, microflip. You get into it and it's a catastrophe, and you end up spending an extra $25,000 and you already overpaid. And then pretty soon all your equity is gone, because you're not shooting to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on these things. You're shooting to make 50, 75,000, maybe 100, and just keep rolling your money down the road. So that agent's the most important thing, All
right. So now we got our agent. I think I've done a bunch of homework, which you're going to have to dig. I mean, you're going to have to dig for the right agent, and you're going to want to look for an agent that has experience, like years of experience. And if you can find someone like Robert or myself that has, multiple years of experience, they're investing, they're doing their own deals, they have a crew, they have everything put together. Well, that's the value-driven investor way. That would be the perfect agent to talk to.